Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again for another podcast. Today I have Factory Apps Engineer Michael Mournighan, and he works with our power and isolation group, specifically with our PoE products, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And he's going to go ahead and give us an overview of the PSE standards that are important to our customers. How are you doing today, Michael?
Hey, I'm pretty good, Isaac. Thanks for asking, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I appreciate you taking the time, record a podcast with us. It looks like there's some changes to the PSE standards. So not only are the changes affecting the power that's delivered over the cable, but also on the physical label. Can you kind of give us an overview of what exactly these changes are and how we got there?
Yeah, sure. So the inside the previously existing spec, you were only able to use two pairs at a single time, and so the previous AT spec had a four-wire usage, which meant that you can only deliver so much power without heating up the Ethernet cable, etc. So the configuration, the choice of those four wires out of the eight wires available on an Ethernet interface was part of the AT standard that has also been updated. So first thing that the BT standard does is moves from four wires to eight wires. So you have this thing called a four-pair port. So every pair of copper cables is used as a powered conductor and a return conductor. And then the second thing that it does is it changes which conductors are hot and which conductors are return on the Ethernet interface itself. So those are the kind of the two big changes at the physical layer. What is connected and where. So we've got twice as many conductors pumping current now.
How do these new physical layer changes affect which PSE products we suggest to our customers?
That's a great question. So the customers needing more power are going to have to move towards a BT item. So the AT spec topping out at 30 watts is really just not enough for like the connected ceiling or high-end power over Ethernet applications such as a very large pan-tilt zoom camera or even some workstations now being powered over Ethernet. Those things are going to need to move into that higher wattage range, and so that's going to move them from the AT spec to the BT spec. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at this poster you guys put together in the power group, and there's a couple of products listed, and it goes over four two-pair wires with the 3454, and then the eight two pairs. So I guess we have a product for the different classes of power required for our customers.
Yeah, I can talk to that binning. So the 3459 is our kind of the existing flagship PSE that we have, and that's capable of delivering 30 watts across 8 ports simultaneously. So that is capable of doing a UPoE system, which is a Cisco proprietary standard, and it's also capable of delivering power for everything through Type 2. So that's 4 watts, 15 watts, 10 watts, and 30 watts, or 7 watts, sorry, not 10 watts. And then the 34.7X is our series above that, which is going to capture not only what the 5X can do, but all the way up to the 90 watt delivery that the new standard demands. And then you've got the 3454, which is just a small package of another Type 2 system. So that's, again, a 30 watt, but it comes in a quad instead of an octal, which is what the 5X presents itself as.
Awesome. It's good to know that we have that binning specific for target customer applications. So it seems we're definitely moving more towards this BT standard. I see that other than the power delivered, there's additional features for this standard. Do you mind going over those?
Yeah, absolutely. So this standard has been extremely concerned with power usage and smart power usage. So some of the additional features that are coming out of this versus the AT standard is this short MPS. So the maintained power signature was kind of this 6.5 milliamp pulse that needed to occur within this window. And we've got this short MPS feature now so that we don't have to consume as much power just to deliver that. And so the short MPS versus the previous MPS has about a 1/10 of the existing power cost just for a PD to remain active on the line. So that's one big feature. In the lowest power mode, the PD can consume 1/10 of what it used to have to consume. Another big feature that comes out of this kind of power focus is this auto classification ability. The idea being that a PSE will communicate to a PD, I am smart enough to get more information, and then that PD is going to articulate immediately exactly how much power it is ever going to use. So that power specificity is going to fall within the other class bins, and what that allows is a reduction of your overall power supply, because now everyone can be more precise with the power that they're allocating and the power that they're using. And that's not a feature we had before in the AT spec. So autoclass is a big thing. Similarly, on the notion of power to motion. This is the concept of the PSE communicating to the PD through its fingers how much power it can actually deliver. You can run into a situation where you're attaching to a Class 8 PD who can handle all 90 watts that you're supposed to deliver from the PSE side, but you're actually only capable of delivering 60 watts at your PSE side. And so the concept of delivering 60 watts to a 90 watt PD is called power to motion. So instead of communicating with 5 classification pulses, you're going to communicate with 4 classification pulses to that PD, and it's going to understand now that you are delivering less power than it was originally expecting, and it can adapt to that, and that entire system downstream is going to consume the appropriate amount of energy now. So those are some of the key features that are coming out for a more sophisticated power management at the IC level on the PD and the PSE side of this.
Sounds like this spec is definitely improving the quality of PoE. So I noticed we also have this part, the Si3484 Power Manager. Is this for the host interface? What's the purpose of this part that we sell?
Yeah, a little bit about the system coverage. The general way that these products are presented in the market is kind of this call and response interface between a host SoC and this PSE IC. This call and response interface generally requires the host performing an action and then waiting for an interrupt and then responding to that interrupt, etc. So you can kind of get this action interrupt response system. One benefit that the Power Manager offers is that we take all of the control code for that out of the customer's need to worry about. So we pull in that pain point, we pull in that software development to a standalone MCU that's sitting on their system, and it does all the call and response for the end customer. Now that can be great if the customer is okay handling a new MCU on their board as opposed to upgrading software on their SoC. So that's the first thing that it does, is it really simplifies the host software control requirements. That product, that 84, can be burned with information specific to that system so that it can come up and provide a completely autonomous Power over Ethernet solution to the customer, which is great, especially when the customer is looking for a very simple, low-cost switch and wants to add this functionality on top of an existing product line with little additional IP investment. So that's the first value add it has. The second value add the 84 has is precision power management. So the 84 was designed around the AT spec, and in the AT spec we didn't have auto class and we didn't have short MPS. And so this was the Silicon Labs solution to an under budget power supply in a low-cost Ethernet switch market. So you could spec a 400 watt power supply for a system that has 10 AT ports, right? So that system suddenly can draw 600 watts of power at peak if it has 10 class 4 PSEs or PDs on it, but you have a 400 watt supply. So what the 84 allows is we're going to record as much information as we can from our PSEs, and if a PD is not consuming its full 30 watts, we're going to return that power to a pool that's available for everyone to use. So now we have a lot of the feature set in AT that the auto class feature allows in BT. So that was us pulling in system solution for the AT standard that didn't exist before. And that so power scarcity was being managed in the solution for our customers with the 84. That's the value that that product adds on a second level.
Well, Michael, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. You've given us a lot of information on the PSE side of our PoE offerings. And I want to remind our listeners that we do have brand new PD products, and we'll have a podcast on that as well. So thanks again for your time today, and it's been fun learning more about the PSE and their standards.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Isaac.
Appreciate it.